The location now was Vice Principal Wilson's office. The huge floor-to-ceiling windows received a bright sunrise from outside the window. The sun shone in, illuminating the entire office. Noah appeared in the office wearing a clean and neat school uniform. She stood very straight with her hands behind her back expressionlessly. From Noah's attire and appearance, she looks like she hasn't had a fight with anyone else. However, the three boys standing next to her looked quite pitiful. The red-haired boy standing in the middle is wearing a dirty school uniform. Not only was the face swollen from the blow, but even the right hand was injured and needed to be lifted with a sling. The two brown-haired boys standing next to him also had swollen marks on their faces, and their school uniforms were dirty. They stood beside the sofa, watching the people sitting on it. Leon and Roswitha, who have already arrived at the office, are sitting on the sofa. They sat straight and listened attentively to Vice Principal Wilson's next words. Vice Principal Wilson looked at them and didn't intend to beat around the bush, but spoke directly to them about the matter related to Noah's fight. I called you here today mainly to deal with the fight between Noah and her classmates. Before Vice Principal Wilson could continue speaking, Roswitha could not hold back her angry emotions. She narrowed her eyes slightly and said to the Vice Principal, "Principal, do you mean these three young dragons teamed up to bully my daughter?" Roswitha crossed her hands and placed them in front of her chest, walking up to the three injured young dragons. She looked at them with fierce anger and a serious expression. As soon as the three young dragons looked up, they saw the already very angry Roswitha in front of them, and were so shocked that they screamed out on the spot. "Ah!" Leon walked over to Noah, looked behind her, and then looked in front of her. He circled around her like this, checking if she had any signs of injury. He looked at her with worried eyes and said, "Have you been injured anywhere?" Noah calmly looked ahead and didn't react too much to Leon's movements. She said to him very calmly, "No, I'm fine." Vice Principal Wilson frowned slightly. He looked to Noah and the three young dragons and told the truth about this fight. In fact, it was your daughter who beat them up." Upon hearing these words, Roswitha, who had just sat back on the sofa, was somewhat surprised. The anger that had risen within her instantly disappeared without a trace. She turned her head and looked at Vice Principal Wilson with a slightly awkward expression on her face. "Ah, is that so?" The three young dragons hugged each other very aggrieved and cried softly. It seemed that no girl had ever beaten them so badly before. Obviously, they were frightened by Noah's fighting ability. Noah calmly looked at Leon standing next to her. Leon also looked at Noah with a slightly surprised expression. The air suddenly quieted down for a moment. Then, with a proud smile, Leon sneaked a thumbs up towards Noah. He remembered the conversation between him and Noah at the beginning of the school year. It seems that she has taken his words to heart. He silently praised her in his heart. "Not bad for my daughter. Well done." Noah closed her eyes and also showed a proud expression. Vice Principal Wilson pushed his glasses. He also has some opinions on this fight incident. Although this incident was just a small brawl between young dragons, it also involved conflicts between cocoon-born and viviparous young dragons. The dragon race has two ways of reproducing offspring: egg-laying and live birth. There is not much difference between adult dragons when they grow up, but there are still some differences in their abilities during the young dragon stage. Oviparous young dragons inherit their strength directly from their mother's body and have certain advantages in physical fitness and talent. Viviparous young dragons need to grow and learn in order to master their strength. It can be said that within the same age group, the strength of cocoon-born young dragons is superior to that of viviparous young dragons. Vice President Wilson looked at Noah. Although a viviparous young dragon, this child used her own strength to fight 3 oviparous-born young dragons that are a few years older than herself. She has a bright future at such a young age. He is very optimistic about Noah's future development. At this moment, the office door was suddenly rudely pushed open by someone. A well-dressed adult dragon with red hair walked in. He is accompanied by 2 adult dragons. It seems that they are the fathers of those 3 young dragons. The adult dragon with red hair put his hands into his pockets and swaggered towards his son, speaking casually. "I heard my son hit someone. What a big deal. I'll pay for all the medical bills." When he saw the marks of his son's face and hand injuries, he was completely stunned. "Ah, my dear son, how did you get beaten up like this?" The 2 fathers around him were also very surprised when they saw their injured son. The boy with red hair turned his head with a very aggrieved expression when he heard his father's voice. "Dad!" The boy with red hair and 2 other boys rushed towards their father together. They cried while tightly embracing them. They feel like they have been greatly wronged. Sitting on the sofa, Roswitha recognized the race of the adult dragon with red hair at a glance as it walked in. She approached Leon and explained to him in a low voice. "That guy is a member of the Crimson Flame Dragon King Constantine's clan. The Crimson Flame Dragon clan is arrogant and domineering, making communication difficult." Upon hearing Roswitha's words, Leon did not feel afraid of this dragon from another race. The number of Crimson Flame Dragons I've slain could line up and circle the academy twice. After comforting his son, the adult dragon with red hair looked at Roswitha. He put on a very arrogant expression and said to her, "I thought who was here? Isn't this the queen of the Silver Dragon clan? As a queen, you don't even know how to discipline your own children and let her bully other dragons at will?" The boy with red hair hid behind him, looking at Roswitha with a frightened expression. "Oh, the Silver Dragon clan's combat power is not as strong as our Crimson Flame Dragon clans. Do they only dare to encourage young dragons to bully our children?" As he spoke, he approached Roswitha. Leon realized something was wrong and quickly stood in front of Roswitha to stop him. It is obvious that he is provoking her. Roswitha felt particularly uncomfortable when she heard these words. She questioned him with a somewhat angry tone. "Huh? What are you saying?" He stood in front of Leon and continued to speak provocative words without hesitation. "If you don't apologize to my son today, don't even think about walking out of this door." Leon was not to be outdone. He looked at the adult dragon in front of him and laid down harsh words to him. Who's afraid of who? My fists are itching for a fight. Vice Principal Wilson couldn't bear to see this incident escalate into a parent fight. He slapped the table hard. Be quiet. The three parents stopped arguing when they heard the voice of the vice principal. They all looked at the vice principal. Vice President Wilson coughed and then told them the cause and process of the incident. Parents, please calm down and listen to me retell the process of this matter first. Last night, in the cafeteria, Lar and two classmates had an argument with Noah. Noah's plate hit Lar and dirtied his clothes. In memories, Noah calmly watched as her plate was knocked to the ground. Lar grabbed his dirty clothes and exclaimed in surprise, "Ah, my clothes!" So, on the way back to the dormitory, the three of them blocked Noah in the backyard of the dormitory and had a fierce physical altercation. Vice Principal Wilson looked to the three young dragons and asked them if there was anything else to add regarding the details of the incident. Do you have anything to add? The three young dragons took a step back in great fear and shook their heads, indicating that there was nothing to add. No. However, at that moment, Noah raised her hand. She seems to have something else to say. Principal, I need to add something.
Hey, have you heard about it? Lolo Bun has uploaded a new comic. I have already shared a new comic. The name of this comic is The Blonde-Haired Villain. In Girl Overlord novel, also longs for happiness. I have already shared the relevant content of this comic in this video. You can click on this video to learn about the comic story and character information. If you are interested, you can subscribe to my channel and wait for the sharing of new comic.